Thank you so much. Cameron is actually here from Australia.
Yes, I apologise for being looking tired. I might look tired. There's no excuse in my hair, but there is an excuse in me looking tired. I've got this hair on a bet, and I've lost the bet. I have to keep this for a year for charity. So yes.
So you're from Australia, and you have this idea for a story, and you end up in New Mexico. Was New Mexico your original vision for the story?
Not particularly, but after travelling across the US with my wife, we were looking for possible places to shoot. But the film wasn't with a Hispanic family at all. It was originally written with a Greek boy. But we stumbled across Silver City, and during the travels, I just fell in love with the Hispanic culture, and it was really, it was the key element, and just the values that I wanted to champion in the film, just those beautiful, wholesome values, and this most unlikely family that just produces something wonderful. And so no, it wasn't in my vision. And when I told my mother, well, I gave her the script and she read it, she looked at me like I was crazy. She's an Australian surfer filming in the US, writing a story about a Latino family. It's not particularly my niche skill, or culture of knowledge. So I bit off a little bit more than I could chew, but these guys helped me chew. So, yeah.
Julian, how did you like being in the movie?
It was fun. It was hard too.
How was it hard?
Be nice.
It was hard, to, I guess, remember, how to do all this stuff. We were doing a lot of the scenes over and over again. So, yeah.
So was he a hard taskmaster? Was he a hard director?
Kind of, not really.
I've never heard this. What do you think? All the time I was giving you lollies, and no, it was. Look, it is tough with the kids, but we were so lucky to find them. We were under every instruction from LA. The casting agent said that we were foolish to look into a local town and not take the kids that they sent to us from LA. They kept sending us tapes from LA, and I was adamant, and I was determined, and I was confident we would find wonderful, natural, talented kids in whatever town we chose to film in. And this town was so special, and to find kids that were so wonderfully brave about what they did, because they were really, they were fantastic, and they knew that they were acting opposite well-seasoned actors, and we were warned, but I had confidence in them all, and these guys, they really did make my job easy, and it brought everything that I'd ever imagined to fruition, and I can't thank them enough. They were amazing, really.
And you started out as a child actor, so did that help you?
No, I was terrible. These guys showed me up, no doubt. Yeah, in Australia, I was a child actor for a while, for my childhood basically. I never really liked it. I fell into it by accident. My mother and father tried to talk me out of it, and I eventually came to my senses a little bit, went to school, and then went back to the industry on the other side of the camera where this sort of look is fine. I'm not sure in front of the camera. I don't have these guys' good looks.
Does anybody have questions out there? Raise your hand. We've got people with microphones that are watching for you. Just raise your hand real high and somebody will get to you. There's one over here. Okay.
Well, how long does it take to film?
Okay, this one.
5 weeks.
Did it?
So all the children were from the community?
They were from basically from two schools. We were sent, believe this or not, we were sent 1,600 kids from LA, and I watched them all. And we had 80 kids at the school from which to choose, and they were leaps and bounds above everything they sent us. It's these talent guys, you should be really proud of yourselves, especially a treasure like Helen, because you should really be super proud that you guys have come here to support this sort of work that we do in these films, because You just don't get that often, and it's amazing, and it's the talent we found in that town, and it's the support from your town here that's similarly beautiful that allows us to do this. We couldn't do it without you, so thank you very much.
I see another hand right over here.
I have a question as well.
Okay.
I'm over here to your left, sorry, hand up. Hi, Julian, great film, and you were just delightful to watch. Your expressions, your innocence, the sweetness, but yet I couldn't help but wonder, there was so much humorous, funny scenes and moments throughout the film that there must have been a time when you had laughs inside of you and you just wanted to giggle, and I wanted to know, what was your favorite scene? What did you have the most fun making?
Well, I like doing the scene with J.K. Simmons where I was looking at the sailboat and he was talking to me.
How did you land J.K. Simmons for this?
Yeah, I get asked that quite a bit. It turns you into quite a crazy little investigator and someone making these independent films for very little money. Someone just determined, and so we were throwing around ideas for that role, and I said, I really like J.K. Simmons. And so I literally got laughed at by the producer. He laughed at me, he said, the guy that won the Oscar. And I go, yeah, I think he'd be really good. The way he did it, and they go, don't explain why, we can't get J.K. Simmons. So I trawled the internet for 2 days, found his email address. It was the hardest thing ever to do, but I found it. I found 3, so I wrote the same letter to 3 people. The next day I got 1 reply, and it said, basically, I've still got the email. Thank you for sending me the script. God knows how you got my email. I'll give it a read on the red eye. I'm coming back from Canada. J.K. Simmons. And I thought, someone's having a laugh because I'd sent it to 3. So the next day, we had come back from filming and we were in the production office. And my phone had been ringing, and I answered it. And he said, hey, this is J.K. Simmons. And I thought one of the guys in the aisle, I'm looking around, I see he's got their hand to the phone, and I go, oh, sorry, I died for, yeah, I thought someone was joking, wait a second, I'll take this outside. I get out there and he goes, yeah, I really like that script. So it's that role, Ernest, right? You didn't mention Rich Roll, but you mentioned the car salesman. And I said, yeah. And he goes, yeah, so, yeah, I'll do it. When are we doing this? And I go, oh, gee, man, and I'm panicking inside because I had read online his daily feed. So I didn't expect him to reply. And so all I'm thinking is, all that money, like 3 days with him, which is we did 2, is all about budget. And I'm panicking because I don't want to turn him down, but I want. So I was caught between a rock and a hard place. So I said, I'll get back to him, I'll talk to the producers, can I ring you back on this number? I went and told them, they laughed again. I said, I'm deadly serious, he really just called me now, this is his number. And they said, and I said, but the problem is his fee. And then one of the other producers said, yes, his fee is our budget. So I rang him back and said, I don't know how to put this, Mr. Simmons. I contacted you on a whim. I didn't expect you to call back. We're a really low budget film. And he said, yeah, I understand, I know that. How much have you got? The worst negotiation ever. I'm sitting there going, oh goodness. I go, not much, mate. I was about to say, we'd been told we had a certain figure for him, which was a 1/6 of his daily fee, and we had that for 3 days. And I told him the fee. And he goes, yep, great, I'll do it for, and he said less than what I'd said. And I went, no, for all 3 days. He said, yep, I'll come out there, my brother's in Phoenix, I'll go there, I owe my brother a card game, and I'll come down and spend some days together. I felt like saying, can you put that in right? I didn't know what, I still thought they were joking with me. I got off the phone, I went in, and the guys go, what's going on? I go, I got him and I told him the price, and he looked at me and they go, you haggled with him still? I go, no, he offered less. And then to his incredible credit and benevolence and wonderful, he donated his entire fee to a charity. So he came out for those days and did all that. So yes, if anyone's making a film, send it out to the Leonardos and the Brad Pitt, just send it out. You never, ever know. So.
Someone has a question there? Who has a microphone? Oh, okay, Steve.
Hi there. I liked the the soccer ball that was tossed a couple times. I don't know why, and I was just wondering if you could talk, who came up with the idea of just tossing the soccer ball into so many scenes.
Yeah, I was one of those things. I think I spoke to you about it, and I said to Jules I was going to be doing it in, tossing it in. Just the idea that little Petey guy was always around, and he was this, just this enigmatic little character, such a wonderful, quirky little guy, and that he and Sailboat were thick as, they were these two little, not ostracised, but they were on the fringes of the school. They just did their own thing and they were comfortable doing it. But just the fact that it's obviously physically impossible. A lot of the times they were driving back across the desert, and then his ball would be there soon after. Just the idea, to me, it was just something that was lighthearted, and I just liked that his presence was there, and that Sailboat almost had like a little guardian angel friend that was just always around. One of those things, when you're writing it, you just write it.
I see a question up front here, and one there.
I've got them there. Hi, thank you for this gift. Julian, your performance was the song we never got to hear. It was precious and pure and beautiful. I'm curious what made you choose that particular tone to represent the song.
Yeah, the tone is at the end it's the same tone as the flat line. So effectively the song was, she had always passed, so it was just waiting for the song. So the song was a representation of just, someone's final wish. I knew that you can't appease anybody. You tell people you're going to write the best song in the world, you can write Imagine. Not everyone is going to love it. So for people to suspend their disbelief, I knew I couldn't reveal the song, and I needed to tie it in. I hate things that are just coincidental. I like things that have multiple meanings, and so I pined over it for a while, but pained over, I should say. In the end, I thought it was appropriate that it was very similar, if not the exact same tone as the flat line, that she was waiting to hear the song to pass. Yeah.
Another question?
So, how did you guys figure out, how did you guys come up with the idea of making that type of story?
I can't see from where that came, but thank you. Laying in bed at night, my mind is a bizarre world. And like I said, when my mother first read the script, she goes, "What would you know about a Latino family in the desert and a ukulele?" I don't play music. And so, the idea just came from, I wanted a really unlikely story to come from a really unlikely place. I wanted, just a wonderfully close, comfortable family, comfortable where they were, on the outside of the world. I wanted from their smallest son, who was even more unlikely than everybody else, to make something, create something that would have an effect over a lot of people. So a really unlikely place from something beautiful to come. Sometimes it's just a little seed or a little pebble, but they can change the world. That was the genius of the idea, and I sort of just started attaching things to the story as we drove across the US, and it ended up in Silver City with Julian as that little guy.
Julian's dad told me that you captured the spirit of the town really well also.
Yeah.
I heard it, over there. Someone from Silver City.
Oh, wonderful. Do you have any more questions? I see a hand up here. I see hands. I see
Back here in the
several
back.
hands. Okay. Whoever has the mic.
I do, in the back, very back. Hi, thank you so much for your beautiful film. I just wanted to ask, did you have any guiding principles when it came to filming those scenes with the Latino family that was so intimate? guiding principles?
Of which scene did you say?
All of the scenes with the family that were just so
with the family.
intimate.
Yeah, there was, as I
And
said.
so quintessential, like Latina.
Yeah, well, it actually came from one particular situation. Me and my wife had driven into a town really late, down in, it was actually in Mexico, but this is from where I fell in love with that culture. And there was nothing open. And the lady was closing the store down, and her chef had just closed the last restaurant in this town. And they invited us to their house to have dinner. And we went and had dinner at a family's house that wasn't dissimilar to that sort of vibe. Everybody was talking, and it was wonderful. And then as soon as the food came out, it just went quiet, and we just ate and smiled. And it was probably one of my favourite nights. And that was with then I decided that was the culture, that was the values that I loved. Just those wholesome togetherness values. There were no kids on iPhones. There was nothing but food, smell, conversation, and then silence while we ate. And so I wanted to reproduce that. And so the isolation of the house helped in that sense. But then, yeah, just them enjoying each other's company. It's such a rare commodity these days, people sitting in silence. Yeah, so that was very good.
So ask Julian if he's interested in doing more movies now.
Yeah.
I think we have time for a few more questions. Okay? Okay?
How did it feel like being the main character, Julian? It was cool. When I got the part, because I like basketball, I was like, I can go to billions of basketball games.
Yes.
So one of the things I found interesting about this film is it's defined by its stark, open landscape, and there's a lot of silence in this film. And I'm kind of wondering, when you were driving around the U.S. looking for a place to shoot this, was a stark landscape your idea? And what about that stark, open emptiness made you think, this is a great setting for a comedy? Because it's used a lot for horror films and dramas and tragic stories, but I can't recall a film that's used this in a comedic sense. And I think it worked really well, but I want to know where that came from.
It's a really good question. It's probably one of the better questions I've been asked. The challenge of the comedy did come later. I hadn't bargained for that. The isolation was inherent to what I wanted from the family. I wanted them to have been out there with their lot in life, and I'm very happy with it. And the world is an amazing place these days through Google Maps. I searched the US with Google Maps, and I, with my wife, earmarked we were about 10 or 11 towns to go to. And in particular, I searched old or defunct windmills. And that one in Silver City happened to pop up. So we drove out to the middle of nowhere, the desert. It's probably 10 miles out of Silver City, that lot of land. And there it was, like I saw on Google Maps, in the middle of nowhere. My wife was thinking I was crazy. She goes, we really drive down this road an hour? Yeah, we'll find this little lot of land. And we drove down, and I found this, there it was, like it was on Google Maps, believe it or not. And I said to her, we're gonna build this house here. I'm sorry. And we did. 3 years later, my wife passed away just before we should film. Okay. Yeah, so it was more of a celebration. Like I rarely get upset anymore, but when we found that land, we were right on that land. So we ended up doing it there.
So you can tell there's a real depth of feeling that comes from all of this. Okay, we have room for time for 2 more questions.
Julian, I thought you were terrific, and I'd like to just understand a little bit the reasoning or the understanding of the paint by numbers pictures with the horses, the total crooked house, that was, you know, they were really trying to keep it together. Can you just perhaps explain some of that symbolism?
Yeah, I will. Thank you, man. This is Dickie. This is Julian's father. He's lovely. A lot of those, some of those were like I said, I don't like things to just have one meaning. So a lot of them do have some symbolic reasons to being in the script. The house being bent over, I just really like the idea that most people walk up to a picture frame and straighten it up, but they were just happy with each other, and despite the fact that father didn't have that outward affection in the beginning because of these concerns and the worries, they were happy with their lot. They were happy with what it was, and the paint by numbers was just. It was something my father used to do. My father wasn't good at many things, but the things he would insist on trying them. So the idea was that the father had this wonderful creative side that he never really got to show what it never got nurtured. But he wanted to paint. But when you can't paint, you paint by numbers. So in his heart and mind, he loved it. He loved the idea of the freedom of being on a horse. The freedom of just riding free because he had these worldly concerns, and he wanted to paint, he wanted to be an artist, and that was in there. You get a little sense of it at the start when he talks about the inlays on the ukulele, which were so you had this hard veneer and hard exterior. You could see that there's a sense of something in there that he was trying to nurture himself, but it came out more once Sailboat had played the song. He allowed himself to pursue it more and just be more open with himself. But yeah, just little things from my life. I like to write from places that are real, because it's you can tell when people are writing from somewhere that they've heard about, or you know. But if you write from somewhere that you feel and some of the experiences you've had in your life, you know you can really step in the shoes for a little bit and write from the heart and write something that translates off the script. Just to have a little bit of heart in it, you know. I grew up with films that were wonderfully full of heart in the 80s, E.T. and things like that. And I just love stories from a real place, you know, and those emotions that are based in reality somehow.
Before we have our last question, and I guess Sean's getting my phone. We have the Arizona Film Commissioner scheduled to be here this weekend. I wondered if he is here. Is he? No?
Yeah.
Where? What's that? Oh, they're getting him. Okay, so we'll do the last question, then I'll introduce him.
I have the microphone. Very short question. But first I want to say thank you for bringing this to our town and letting us see this. And I don't know how other people feel here, but I feel we actually heard your song. And it made me feel like I would feel if I heard the most beautiful song in the world. So thank you.
Thank you so much. No one did say that, and that's very special. Thank you.
I'd just like to know, where is it going next?
What was that? Sorry, I just missed
Where is the film going next?
We've only had, and that was surprising because they came out of the blue. We weren't supposed to have started festivals, but we did Newport and now this festival, which we're very lucky to do both of. But at the same time, we had the film at Berlin and Cannes in the industry market, the markets there. And so off the back of those, we're doing deals at the moment. We're trying to secure some deals at the moment that will see a cinema release across the US and hopefully Latin America as well. And so yeah, we're doing that as we speak. I speak to my sales agent. So thank you. You make them so that I was hoping 100 people would see this film. And this makes me so happy. Thank you. She'll kill me.
He's going to get a photo.
I'll show this photo and tell her, remember those things you loved? If everyone could just move to this.
of all, can you introduce yourself and tell us about your film?
My name's Cameron Nugent. I'm the director of A Boy Called Sailboat. I've just had it shown here and I was extremely happy and proud. I was hoping maybe a few people would put a smile on a few people's faces, but the room was really, they received it really well, and it makes me extremely happy and proud to know that you can make people have a bit of a good time.
So you had hundreds of people here, and was that a surprise?
Yes, you never know what, people sometimes, I imagine maybe 50 or 100 people. I had no idea, and it took my breath away as people filed in. I was really taken aback and just buoyed by everyone's spirit and everyone's entertained. It was fun.
And is this your first time in Prescott?
Yes, I only got here yesterday.
So
and I drove in and fell in love with it. I saw that beautiful rock formation behind the city, behind the downtown, and it's a beautiful. What a beautiful little town.
If you hold your thumb just right.
Is that what it is?
It looks
reminded me of an old
exactly
film that I loved called Close Encounters of the Third Kind, in which there's a specific shaped.
Yeah, North Dakota.
Straight away as I drove in, I love this town.
Your film was so well received here. What's your next project?
It's the follow-up from that. Another story happens at the exact same time in a different part of America, and they hear the song near the end of that changes the story in that. And JK drives out of that film, at the start of it, he drives out of that with the sailboat. So he buys the sailboat at the start of the next film. And it's about a group of kids that steal a school and move it across the road so it's in a different district and doesn't close down. But they do it without anyone knowing. Sort of a bit like Ocean's 11 meets Goonies. But they steal a school, yes. They move it across the road.
So, what would you like to say to the people who have seen your film, and also the people who haven't had a chance yet? How can they watch it?
I want to say thank you to the people who saw it. First of all, because that was incredible. And the people who would like to see it, we're bringing it back through this part of the world on our own. We were going to do that before we just started to work out this possible deal. So we will bring it to towns along this route between LA and Silver City and play it in some cinemas privately. Like when I say privately, I mean without a distributor. But then it looks like we'll be doing it with a distributor, which would be wonderful. Yeah.
So, okay, and any messages?
Can I interrupt for one second?
Of course you can.
Because I'm going.
Okay.
I wanted to say thank you.
Thank you so much.
And I'm waiting for the CD. Okay?
And there's
Because I
somewhat
want
of
to
a
learn to
sequel
play
coming.
that song because I just started playing a Fender at 65. So I'll get there. So I want to be able to play that.
There's somewhat of a sequel in the plan.
There is.
Little sequel.
We'll have to
I call it
watch
an equal
for it.
because it happens at the same time. It's not a prequel or a sequel, it's like an equal. It happens at the same time.
Equal. That sounds better.
Well, I'm glad talented people like you ended up
Oh,
on the
don't be
planet
silly.
at the same
I-
time as I did.
Oh.
I'm always thankful for that.
Thank you.
Thank
Lovely
you.
of you to say. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Great.
No, thanks, mate. Thanks for coming.
That was mine.
I've only been here for about 10 years, so I should know better. But I've heard of Silver City, but I've got no idea where it is.
Yeah, down in the southwest corner of New Mexico.
Okay, so down in the Yuma area.
Yeah, exactly, right near there. We nearly shot at Yuma until we saw.
Okay, so I remember a lot of landscape looking like that.
Yeah, and it's beautiful.
I want to say I'm sorry to hear about your wife, but amazed that you were able to pull off such a beautiful comedy in the middle of the heartbreak.
Well, I had to. That's what I promised, and I had to do it. And yeah, like I was telling someone before, it wasn't like I lost anything because we were given 2 months 5 years prior.
Oh,
so we got 5 years, and she had breast cancer.
I know that story.
Yeah, so we felt like we won.
Yeah, like in our family, we refuse to accept the doctors telling us when to die.
Yeah, that's true. We did. We refused.
Yeah, my best was my uncle, who was given 3 months, and he dragged it out to 34 and a half years. He laughed at the 13 top surgeon experts in Boston General. Guffawed at them. He says, "I'll bury every last one of you."
Well, they told us we shouldn't travel overseas. They said, if you travel, there's a very good chance you'll pass away. Because you can't do that. We had to get off treatment, and every time we came back, the tumor was smaller than when we left. we just forgot about it and just went on with our lives.
That was excellent.
The spirit of the soul.
Yeah.
And so what was the line that they used a few times in the movie where something happens and then
So other
something
things
else
can happen.
happens?
Some things happen, so other things can happen. Yeah. Things happen for a reason. That was basically the idea there, and it was just the way that he phrased it. His little phraseology was always a little bit unique and different.
And she was able to be a part of it. So that happened.
She really was. So thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I got a quick one.
Go.
So, if at some point you had to raise money for this movie.
Yes.
What was your elevator speech? What was the pitch?
I literally.
You know, you got to like.
It's hard. You know, how do you can't. You go, okay, so this boy writes his song for the grandma, but the thing.
Boy meets girl, boy loses girl. Right?
I usually just said, look, I've got a script. Have a read. Come back to me if you're interested. And people were really forthcoming.
Right?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's hard. It's a hard one. The
No
elevator
shit.
pitch, you can't pitch that in an elevator.
Yeah.
So what was your?
Can you do your next movie in Nimbin?
Almost.
I spent a fair amount of time in Australia. So.
No, man, that's on my coast. I live up and down the coast all the time.
Well, pleasure, man. Great work. Great work.
Thank you.
Great work.
We got filming together.
So what was your budget for the film?
$680,000. Yeah.
So, and was it tough to stay in, or were you?
Wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. We originally wanted 7. I think we got 680. I think we had 7 and we only spent 680. So you know what? If you're somewhat ingenious and you're creative, you could put every cent on the screen. And everyone worked for hardly anything just so that we could put the money on the screen. Because we wanted to try and do the story justice, and we thought there was a nice little story there. So everyone works for a pittance, and it's not very much to put every cent up there. And that's what we did.
Okay, well, any message for the people in Prescott?
Thank you very much, Prescott. I'm determined to come back and film something here because it's just so visually stunning, like it really is, and the surrounds are beautiful. So.
Well, we'd love to see you. So.
Thanks
so
for having
much.
me.
Nice. So, tell me about your thoughts on tonight. Almost 600 people were here.
Yeah, it was awesome. Really exciting. The Q&A was beautiful. We have El Gato Azul catering the party, and El Gato will be back for the closing night party. So we're just hoping to keep it rolling.
And tell us about some of the films that are coming up, the ones that stand out the most to you.
The closing night film is another film that I just love called The Pretend One. Tuesday's film is probably the most important film from a higher education standpoint. It's called Fail State, and it's about for-profit colleges, and Dr. Penny Wills is going to do the introduction to that. Kensum is the most expensive film that Hungary has ever made, and it's a beautiful film. The Wild Ponies of Chinchiki, beautiful little film, and the filmmakers will be Skyping in for that film, and the filmmaker for the short film, which is also horse-related, will be here in person. So, yeah.
And you have some shorts that are from Arizona?
We do. We have tomorrow is the Arizona Shorts Film program, and we have 3 of the filmmakers here for those. 2 are from Tucson. 1 is from Pauldron. It's about Whipstone Farms, and another is Gray Area about wolves of the Southwest. So, yeah.
Okay, well, it's going to be a long week, but it should be a good week. So.
It will. Thank you.
So, all right. Oh, and do you still have tickets available for your dinner?
There's, I think, 10 tickets left. So if they're go online at PrescottFilmFestival.com and you can buy those tickets.
Okay, thanks. Bye.